everyone. Welcome to the Glow podcast. I'm here today with Sylvie Beljanski, and she is from the Beljanski Integrative Cancer Conference, and I'm super excited to have her here. For those of you just joining us on the podcast, we are Tailored Marketing, and we specialize in helping dermatologists, skincare brands, and aesthetic clinics grow their revenue and scale their businesses. So if you want to learn how to take your practice to the next level, just leave a comment or shoot me a DM. Sylvie, I'm super excited to have you here today, and I would love for you to just kind of go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much, Taylor, for having me today. I am doing a lot of things. As you mentioned, this is a Beljanski Integrative Cancer Conference. Why is there this we just had that in Texas, Austin, Texas, and it was a 3-day event with a lot of amazing speakers. People learned a lot about cancer and integrative approach to cancer. Why this event? Because through the Beljanski Foundation, which is a 501c3, we are funding research on natural ingredients to help fight cancer. And the conference is a way to create awareness and to help fund the cancer research. And beyond the foundations that have been now, I founded 99 here in New York City. I also run a company called Maison Beljanski, and we are offering dietary supplement and skincare, organic skincare that we are offering all around the world.
Wonderful. That is amazing. Yeah, I feel like that's such an awesome journey, and I know we were kind of talking about it. Skin cancer is one of those cancers, that's so much easier than other cancers to kind of prevent if you take the right actions. So I love that you're helping people with taking those actions so that it doesn't develop into anything further. So what do you see right now? Obviously, there's so many breakthroughs with skin cancer. What are you seeing with your research team and other research that are kind of some of the most breakthroughs with integrative cancer research right now?
Well, cancer research with natural compounds has been around for a long time. It was pushed a little bit aside by conventional medicine, especially after Nixon declared the war on cancer back in 1971. There was a lot of federal money put into the war on cancer. And of course, big companies, big government decided to put money conventional approach, which was all about treating and never about preventing. And that's why, unfortunately, despite some progress in medicine, in diagnosis, and in some very pointed treatments, the number of cancer has kept rising because nothing much has been done for prevention. And what we have been doing at the Beljanski Foundation is taking an approach which do not harm. That's very, very important, to have selective products that make the difference between cancer cells and healthy cells. Only selectively address cancer cells, have no effect on healthy cells, and recognize those modified cells wherever they are located. And then it doesn't matter if you speak about breast cancer, ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, or skin cancer. It will really, those little plant extracts will really be attracted wherever there is a problem and will help address the problem. I say help because I don't want people to think that it's just a magic bullet. You take 2 pills and you are done with cancer. Again, Cancer is multifactorial, takes years to develop, and the answer is not like that. It's not magic. It takes a lot of different approach, including a lot of lifestyle, a lot of thinking, emotional cleansing. All those things are part of addressing cancer and also preventing cancer.
Yeah.
The latest, as you ask me for the latest trend, is about cancer stem cells. And people have heard generally about stem cells because stem cells are associated to regeneration of tissues. And a lot of dermatologists very rightly used stem cells to help new growth of skin and improve the quality and the young properties of the skin. However, it is important also to know that just like you can have healthy stem cells that will help have all those wonderful generative properties, you can have also cancer stem cells. Cancer stem cells are those embryonic cancer cells that have the ability to become whatever. They are not differentiated, and they will eventually in the blood, maybe dormant for a while, and create one day a new cancer, its metastasis, its recurrence. But they will resist chemotherapy. And so 1 out of 6 people who have had cancer may generate a new cancer because those cancer cells are not addressed by conventional treatment. So I feel that when you have extremely good results in the holistic domain, we had the duty at the Beljanski Foundation to look into the issue of cancer stem cells, considering specifically that conventional treatments are powerless. And that's what we have been doing with ovarian and pancreatic cancer stem cells, with research conducted at Kansas University Medical Center. Those studies have already been published. We funded a big research study on breast cancer stem cells. And that study has been, the raw data of that study has been presented in April at the Integrative Cancer Conference. And that from there, we are now taking it to prostate cancer stem cells in order to avoid the recurrence of breast and prostate cancer stem cells. And I think that's really a breakthrough.
Yeah.
The advancement of cancer, because you don't want to hear cancer has come back. Maybe that's even worse than hearing you have cancer, which is supposed to be one of the first sentences that you can hear. So if we have ways to avoid that, I think everybody concerned with cancer should learn about those options from day one of the diagnosis, and don't wait for 2 years, maybe sometimes down the road, when the problem is back and the doctor speaks about cancer stem cell for the very first time. And a lot of people with cancer have never heard about cancer stem cells. It's really important to understand that as of today's advancement of science, cancer stem cells are considered responsible for metastasis and cancer recurrence. And there are a lot of researchers around the world looking into the issue of cancer stem cells. We don't hear so much about the results because they don't have good results to present. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that there is no solution. And we believe that with a natural option, non-toxic, we have found some very valuable solutions that is worth presenting the world.
That's awesome. Yeah, stem cells I feel like are kind of a big topic of conversation right now, at least bigger than they were, 5-10 years ago. People are hearing about it more frequently, but I think you're correct too. The education piece of it is so important, because if people don't know about these treatments, then they're not going to get them, of course, because they don't even know that they exist. So with stem cell therapy, I know you were talking about not having the cancer come back, basically, but is stem cell therapy something that people could do even before they're diagnosed with cancer as well for preventative care?
Absolutely. I mean, those plant extracts made of Pao pereira, which is coming from South America, from the Amazon rainforest, and Revolfia vomitoria coming from Africa, they have shown over the number of studies that we have done that they have a broad spectrum of activity on different kind of cancer, but also on different stages of cancer, going from inflammation to full-blown cancer to advanced cancer, which, for example, doesn't respond to hormonal therapy anymore, and then cancer stem cells. So some product like that, I mean, there is no problem in taking them preventively. And I know a lot of people who are doing that either because they are concerned with cancer, or because they tell me cancer runs in my family, or because I have had cancer and I don't want that to come back. So there's different reasons to have a kind of preventive approach. And because those plant extracts specifically recognize the DNA of cancer cells and do not touch healthy cells, there is no side effect. You will eliminate, if you don't have a cancerous cells, but we all have some pre-cancerous cell every day in our body. But ideally, if you have known, then you are going to eliminate the product in a matter of hours just by going to the bathroom. So no side effect, no toxicity. And that, I think, is the beauty of holistic integrative medicine.
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit more? I know you all have a really holistic approach with the Beljanski Foundation. So would you talk a little bit more to kind of what that looks like? What does kind of that holistic approach to preventing cancer look like outside of stem cell therapy?
Well, those plant extracts have been around for a number of years. It was actually my father who perfected those plant extracts. He was a PhD in molecular biology.
Wow.
He worked at the Pasteur Institute for years. Pasteur Institute in Paris is kind of equivalent of NIH here. And he was so successful that he was asked to help former President François Mitterrand to help him finish his second term when he was diagnosed with advanced prostate cancer, which my father did. For my father, prostate was a prostate. He was not at all a political animal, and he had no idea what he was getting involved. Of course, I mean, when you help somebody, the president, you put yourself into a political situation where there is going to be a backlash coming from somewhere. And the backlash was so powerful because it was showing the world that some plant extracts could do better than conventional medicine, that the French army, after Mitterrand finally passed away, the French army was sent to destroy my father's laboratory, my father's research, and they radiated him to get rid of him. That's why I decided to, because I grew up seeing how those plant extracts helped so many people, I decided I had to do something about it and carry on with this legacy and make sure that those products would continue to be available to people. So I have continued to make them available as dietary supplements, and also I have added a skincare line because my father left us some research on the golden ginkgo extract. He was using that for skin fibrosis, and he published on the benefits of this specifically made golden ginkgo extract for radiation-induced fibrosis.
Okay.
Which can result, it's a hardening of the skin that may result from radiation. But we looked at these plant extracts and were wondering if other enzymes in these plant extracts would also have beneficial properties. And we saw that this plant extract is also inhibiting angiogenesis. Angiogenin is the enzyme that helps cancer cells to create new generation of blood vessels, and they need those blood vessels to feed themselves because they need a lot of nutrients and specifically a lot of glucose to feed themselves because they are not able to use oxygen, and they also use those blood vessels to spread to other organs. So if you inhibit angiogenin and angiogenesis, then you starve the cancer cells. And it turns out that melanoma are secreting a lot of angiogenin. And so therefore we tested this ginkgo extract on 4 lines of melanoma with great success, and we're able to see a very nice inhibition. And we also tested a very specific blend of green teas that my father tested, and I had just a piece of paper with his handwriting and saying very, very anti-C. And we tested that blend. We compared to other brands like Lipton or Bigelow or Kusmi, and we sent that to the laboratory also at Kansas University Medical Center. Asked them to look if all the green teas were created equal and or if some were more potent to help fight different kind of cancer. And we started with breast cancer. And when we saw the results, we wanted to confirm on other cancer cell lines. So we did bladder, of course, because people drink tea. So it accumulates, the liquid accumulates in the bladder. We looked also at liver and again, melanoma. And we saw a very nice inhibition of melanoma cells with this very specific blend of green teas. So we have created this skincare line called Beljanski to include the ginkgo extract and the tea extract, because you don't need to have cancer to just put something on your face that has been researched
Yeah.
to fight melanoma. I do that myself on a daily basis because why not?
Yeah.
We know that everything is getting absorbed by the skin in 26 seconds. So let's absorb the good thing rather than bad things.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's amazing. I did not know that about the green tea properties like you were saying at all. So that's really, really cool that you found that in your research, that that's helping people. And can you talk a little bit more to kind of your skincare line, and outside of the green tea extracts, what else you're using in the skincare line that you found in your research is working really well, and what type of products do you have as well?
So it's a very, very small skincare line. There is two products for the body and two products for the face, and it's really been thought to help people whose skin has been damaged by chemotherapy or by other reasons, but they are of course made in Europe, made in France, so they are EcoCert, which is the European equivalent of USDA organic, and they are filled with golden ginkgo extract and the specific green tea extract, and then there are other things to make the product very soothing and repairing as much as possible without becoming sticky. They have been designed by specialists in France. In Europe you have to have some, you cannot launch a product without having some study of satisfaction, and we passed those studies with flying colors, so with all products.
That's awesome. And you sell them everywhere, correct? It's not just in.
Yeah, we sell them everywhere, yeah.
Awesome. That's super, super cool. Yeah, I love that. I feel like, especially too, with the research backed by it too, that's such an awesome thing that you all are the ones doing the research and the ones that are putting the products out for people too.
All the publications regarding everything I spoke about are available on the website of the Beljanski Foundation. So it is beljanski.org, and you can download all the publication. And there is also a lot of information in my book about the foundation and the story behind the foundation, how I did everything. I mean, I found myself without a scientific background. I was a lawyer by trade, but when the French government decided to destroy everything, how I started everything in the States with totally unknown and on a shoestring budget. I told everything in my book, Winning the War on Cancer, the Epic Journey Towards a Natural Cure. And I believe it's an eye-opening for many people. It reads very easily. It's like a novel, actually. That's what I wanted, but it brings a lot of information about those products, but also about holistic medicine and how difficult it is to do research with natural products, because there is very, very little incentive for companies.
Okay.
Companies, and you know very well about marketing, dietary supplements are not supposed to treat, prevent, diagnose anything. So you cannot say much about the products. So if you cannot say much, why would companies invest in research if they are not going to be able to use that? And same thing with skincare. Skincare is supposed to be just about hydration and at the level, acting just at the level of the skin. Legally, it's totally ignoring the fact that those products are absorbed by the skin, and it goes directly to the bloodstream. And then once it's the bloodstream, those chemicals can go everywhere within the body. There has been some studies showing that on different breast cancer tissues, showing that they find out of 20 samples of breast cancer tissues, 19 of them were containing parabens. where those parabens are coming from. Parabens are preservative in many, many products available, even luxury brands. And are absorbed by the skin, and they go where is the weakest link. And when you use, for example, deodorant with aluminium on a daily basis, also that is absorbed. It is known that there is more right breast cancer than left breast cancer, because people are doing like this on this side, and whereas the aluminium is directly absorbed by the skin and goes directly to the tissues which are behind it. So information about what is causing all those problems and having the choice of easily make a shift of products without all those bad ingredients is something that I believe is empowering people, and that's why I believe that's what the Beljanski Foundation is doing.
No, that's amazing. And I guess, so my question would be then, when these parabens, and then also like you mentioned the aluminum too with your deodorant, is there anything else that people should be looking out for with, like, say, lotions or like moisturizers, deodorant? Are there any other of the kind of these toxic chemicals that we have found have been causing cancer that people should look out for when they're buying products?
Yes, heavy metals are in general are a very big thing, and aluminium.
Yeah.
You would think that aluminium is for thermometers. Actually, aluminium is in vaccines, which is one of the reasons of the side effects sometimes associated with vaccine, and in a lot of skincare. A lot of skincare products do contain aluminium, and that creates, you use that every day for years and years and years, and where all those aluminium goes. We speak of amalgams in the mouth and think the importance of removing them or making other better choices, but we never speak of aluminium in skincare. And if you look at the ingredients, it's there very often. I know that in New York, where I live, the governor passed a clean beauty bill 2 years ago to ban aluminium, but that's at the level of the state, and that's not enough. We are facing a lot of, there are a lot of companies, especially in the domain of the skincare industry, which is not regulated enough, and they don't have the best outcome in mind for the clients. They are looking for profits, they are looking for cheap products, and those cheap products are not clean. That's why I think it's where you are choosing the products for your daily routine, choose wisely. It doesn't have to be complicated, but choose wisely. And I would say go beyond clean and avoid plastic containers as much as you can. I see very often it's written organic, but it's in a plastic bottle. Every skincare product is either oil in water or water in oil, and the oil will capture the plastic of the bottle, which will leach out, and then this plastic is absorbed by your skin every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's months, it's years, and then there is a problem.
Yeah, no, I mean, that definitely makes sense. Yeah, I feel like microplastics too are another thing that people are kind of starting to talk about a little bit more. And it is kind of wild that they can even get absorbed by your skin, which obviously cannot be good for your skin or your cells or really, your whole body.
I would say the absorption through the skin is even worse for the body than for digest everything you eat, because we are built with a way with our digestive system to eliminate, but when it goes directly from the skin to the blood, there is nothing to eliminate. It is there. Next thing, it goes to your liver.
Yeah, it's kind of wild how with our bodies, obviously it runs as a full system. So anything that's affecting one part of that system, it's also going to affect other parts of the system as well. And so right now, with obviously you all have the conference, how else are you kind of educating people about these different findings that you have in your research? I know that you also mentioned your website, which I will drop in the show notes. And then I know you mentioned your book as well. I'll also drop that in the show notes so also if people want to read more about you. Your book sounds super interesting, but how else are you guys educating people right now?
Yeah, and I also have a podcast, which is a Beljanski Cancer Talk Show.
Okay, awesome.
And I invite there a number, it's a platform to invite a number of holistic doctors, researchers who bring their knowledge, because I believe it's a community of knowledge. And I think some things will resonate more than others with people. And it is very, very important when you are concerned with cancer to go with what resonates with you and don't force yourself to go with some treatment that is pushed on you as an emergency and you don't feel like it. At least take the time. There is no emergency. Cancer are even when they are dividing fast, it's not something that has been growing in your body for several weeks, sometimes several years. You have 2 weeks to stop, think, and ask for a second opinion. Don't let the hospital rush you and say you getting out of here, you have to make an appointment for a biopsy, and from the biopsy they send you directly in 24 hours to surgery and chemotherapy. Think, maybe you will end up choosing doing that, but if you end up choosing doing that, you are choosing.
Yeah.
So take the time to choose. Don't just allow people to push you around, because if you don't feel good about what you are doing, it's going to be added stress. And if it is added stress, you are not going to be in a good place to heal.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense completely, because I feel like, getting diagnosed with something like cancer, or really any serious illness, I feel like you do feel, you're like, okay, I got to make the immediate decision. But you're right. It's better to take, week, 2 weeks, however long, to make sure that you're making that informed decision and kind of doing your research about what all your options are out there. So yeah, no, I love that you said that. So what are 2 to 3 practical steps someone can take today at home to we talked about some already with, looking at the ingredients in your products and things like that, but what are some steps people could take at home to come from a more preventative or integrative health standpoint?
So educate yourself. I mean, listen to podcasts, read books, go to conferences. The more options you will cross your eyes, your mind, your ears, the better you will be in position to make the proper choice for yourself. This is complicated. It's a very vast issue. I mean, we live in a world very extremely polluted. We are surrounded with unhealthy food. Now, there is a lot of conversation about banning a number of ingredients. It's long overdue, I believe.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of education which can be extremely overwhelming. Change is not easy, so one step at a time. It's a journey.
Yeah, it is. No, I definitely agree with you. It is a journey. And like you said, too, if you're trying to make all these different changes, it's overwhelming. But if you just do kind of one thing at a time to living a more healthy life, then that's going to be a lot more sustainable in the long run.
And cancer is not a fatality. And even if you have some gene mutation or whatever cancer in your family, genes can be turned on off by your environment. So, and the environment you are giving to your cells and to your genes. So if you make the proper choices, it's not because there has been cancer running in your family that it will happen to you. You are free to make better choices and not continue this negative legacy and pass this negative legacy to your children.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that that's great advice. And where can my audience find you? I know you talked about your podcast earlier and then your website, but if you just want to give them some more information on where to find all the things, that would be great.
Thank you. So the Beljanski Foundation, again, is beljanski.org. And Maison Beljanski, we have coaching also. I forgot to mention that. We are offering coaching, group coaching and individual coaching at Maison Beljanski, and the website website is Maison Beljanski. Maison is Maison. It means house in French. So it's a little townhouse in New York City. So maisonbeljanski.com is the website for the products and for the health coaching.
Okay, wonderful. That is amazing. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really, really appreciate it. And I feel like you gave us so much amazing information and education.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, bye.